So, okay, wow. I cannot believe that I'm sitting here and I'm doing this because this is really a dream come true for me. You know, I don't know, I was probably like 16 or 17, you know, it was like the middle of the night and, you know, I would stay up, you know, till all hours of the night throwing up, and this was just one night and I was just like in just the most amount of emotional pain and just so stuck in this nightmare, not knowing if or how I'd ever get out. And I remember just kind of saying, wow, if I ever get out of this, like, I want to help other people get out of this. So, you know, for me to have this opportunity to share my story and to share how I did break free from a total nightmare, you know, is just, it's a dream come true. So that being said, so what is the story, you know? So, you know, my story, my situation is I think, you know, it really did start with learning that from my father that with food that if I made healthier choices, I could live longer. That taught, you know, before that you just ate food, you know, but then I learned, oh, you mean if I eat certain things, I can live longer. So it gave me the first, like, that was the beginning of like, wow, if I can control what I eat, I can have power over my life, you know? There's so, you know, eating disorders are so, they're so deep and so complicated, you know? It's like, it's hard to know where to begin because there are so many different threads, but, you know, the basic gist of it is that I was, I think I was just trying to be a good girl. I think I was just trying to do the right thing, you know, which I was told was, you know, you get good grades so you can go to a good college and so you can get a good job and make a lot of money and, you know, and I was trying to do that in a big and perfect way. And, I became so obsessed, you know, the message that I seemed to get from my family and from the world was that, you know, I had to achieve in order to be lovable, you know, that who I wasn't enough, that I had to do something in order to be okay. And so, you know, and it was such a fear that if I didn't, you know, that I wouldn't be lovable, that I wouldn't, you know, it felt every moment felt like, if I don't succeed, you know, I'm gonna be, you know, a loser. I'm gonna be, you know, I gotta have that nice, perfect house and car and life, or, you know, somehow I better figure out a way to get that. And at the same time, you know, there's so much fighting with my family. You know, they were overachievers. So, and there was a lot of stress in the family. And it, you know, it wasn't like being around food or family time was like a happy, peaceful place. It was very stressful. So I remember the first time I threw up. It was just a, you know, family fight. You know, I don't know what was fighting. There was always a lot of fighting at the family table, and I just remember, you know, storming up, going into the bathroom, and just like, it just popped into my head to throw up, you know? And I did, and I felt so much better, and I felt like I found like a long lost friend that was going to be with me a long time. Like, it was definitely like this moment of like, you know, like I walked into something that would, and a lot of the pain of having the eating disorder was that I wanted to stop but couldn't. So there's so much pain that comes with doing something that you want to stop and can't stop. You know, I was trying so hard to control everything, to get the best grades and to be on all the sports teams and to do everything just right and get everybody to like me, and trying so hard to be good enough. And at the same time, so out of control with something that makes me feel so not good enough, you know? I deep down, I think part of my issue was deep down, I didn't feel capable of achieving what I supposedly thought was this thing I needed to achieve in order to get love. You know, so one was the pressure to do this, and one was, well, I didn't feel good enough to do that thing anyway. You know, and by the way, everyone thought, oh, I had all my shit together, you know, I got straight A's, was on every sports team, was the class clown, you know. And inside, I was absolutely a miserable wreck and wanted to kill myself. Just absolutely hated life. Just hated it. And no one knew. And that was the hardest part, to be so alone. In such a nightmare and chaos. And no offense to my parents, God bless them, they did the best they can, but then to not even know that your own daughter is, I mean, they say like, oh, we knew something was going on, but they were used to stress being okay. So high stress was, I mean, my dad can tolerate high stress, you know? I could not. I was too sensitive. It was too much for me. So the painful part of, you know, when I read the book Eating by the Light of the Moon, like I so resonated with just feeling like I saw the world in a different way than my family did, you know, but there was nobody to mirror that for me. So it was kind of like, you know, I give the example of, you know, my bathroom was like my sanctuary, you know, and I'd be up till all hours of the night because I couldn't sleep, and because I was so stressed and worried and anxious about everything. And I would look out and there's this beautiful oak tree outside my bathroom window. And I would always look at this oak tree. And I'd always feel like, I know that there's another life out there for me. I know that there's life beyond the one that I know. That there's a better reality. There's something. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there, but I know that it exists. I knew that the reality that I was born into, the world and the ideas and the system and the values and that there was more than that to life. And I knew deep down that if I dared to get out of the reality that I was born into, dare to kind of become the self that I knew deep down that I was, I knew that I would lose the love of my parents. That was the fundamental conflict that I felt. I was just trying to live up to the expectations of the world that I was born into. And I knew that if I dared to live the life that was inside me, that I was trying really hard to deny, that if I did do that, that I would lose my family.